Hey. Are we back? Got to give a huge shout out to some very, very familiar faces in the chat. Your Renaissance, I see you. What's going on, family? Happy Sunday. Parsa is in the building. Drop a bomb in the chat for Parsa and for Yo Renaissance. Mar is in the building. Mar, what's up? Deuces Wild. Drop a bomb in the chat for Deuces Wild as well. Terry Doherty is joined. John Ray is in the building. Deuces Wild. Glenn! Crypto scammers. Oh man, that listen. That username is diabolical. That's diabolical. I'm here for the reality. I don't want to get my hopes up. Mar says, Glenn, what's going on? What's going on, everybody? To the 12, 13, 15 beautiful, beautiful people in the live. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I appreciate y'all for coming to hang out with me. Midday live stream. Y'all could have been anywhere in the world, but you decided to be here with me, and damn it, I appreciate it. We're gonna go for about an hour. Deuces Live, I appreciate you for doing that live or sharing the live stream. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, look at that. We got a fake Calvin Hill that joined. What's up, Cal? What's up, Cal? Come on in, man. Come on in. Guidance has joined. What's going on? True North 1 is in the building. What's going on? Angel Money is in the building. Drop a bomb in the chat for Angel Money. Hey, the question on everybody's mind. Glenn, are we back? Are we back? I'm gonna be obnoxious. I'm gonna let y'all know right now. I'm gonna be so obnoxious because I know what some of y'all thinking. I know what some of y'all are thinking. Glenn, the last time we went live, you told me Bitcoin was going back down to the low or mid 70s. What's going on? You said we were gonna go down and we were gonna fill that CME gap. What's going on? Well, let's talk about it. And let's talk about it. And my hope is, right? Don't buy the hype. My hope is by the time we're done here, we have some additional information that folks can use, if nothing else, to do their own research and make some decisions here based on the market. I said 60. I'd just say 60. I think someone was asking about the possibility of the Elliott wave theory, if it could go down to 40, and I said it's a possibility. The question you got to ask is it probable? Drop a bomb in the chat for King. You all said 57, y'all wildin'. Y'all know I say 57, y'all wildin'. We're gonna talk about it though. King, I'm not gonna lie to you. You kind of took the wind out of my sails, but I thought you said Bitcoin was going to 0. All right, now I know y'all trolling. I was unsure at first, but now I know y'all trolling. I love y'all. I love y'all. So yes, the last time we all got together, we sat here. I said, "Hey man, this target is you know, we looking like every bit of coming down, hitting that CME gap, possibly taking another leg down." And throughout our conversations, I've always said, "Hey, if these things reverse," because people would always ask me, "Do you see a possibility of things reverse?" And I would say, if things reverse, they can reverse, but we need a catalyst. We need a catalyst. Now, if you're like me, right, you try to be objective. So I want to play something for you just so that we're all on the level here. I want to take a moment and I want to level set. This is a conversation I was having with a good friend of mine, woke crypto adopter. We were on late. This is probably like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. the last time we went live, which was the 28th, February 28th, I want to say. What goes up has to come down 100%. So let's just, so we can level set, let's listen to the conversation we had here. It's about 2 minutes.
Yeah, because it.
Let me try to get this audio a little bit clean. I don't know if y'all can hear it here. Hold on for 2 seconds. 2 seconds. Hang on. Head one. Because this is really, really good stuff. And I want y'all to be able to take this also for like your future TA. Will it let me do it? It may not let me do it. All right, so we'll have to y'all might just have to bear with me here.
Bitcoin puts in, right, it's high, it comes down to real low. How do we know low is a real low? We know low is a real low when it leads to a very long time high, right? So we had this slow down here, price came up, go down, very long time. Price came back down, price came back up, boom, put in a very long time high right here. We had this slow down, put in a brand new high right here. And you guys know my stance, whenever price starts to trend to beat the most recent higher low, you have now there. Now, ultimately, what's going to happen, right? This is the first candle that we would have had that's going to close.
Let me pause this real quick. I'm getting mixed feedback in the chat. Are y'all able to hear that or not? Because I want to make sure y'all can actually hear that legitimately. Y'all can? Okay, cool.
That could close underneath the most recent higher low. So if we get here Sunday, this candle closes anywhere between, right? It closes anywhere in that area, that's there. If we start to see this candle, what's that range? What's that range? Range is like 89%. Okay. So if this candle, by the time Sunday comes over around and we start to creep back up, well, then we need to revert here. So basically what I'm trying to say is that the bears are legitimately going to be in control of the duration. You do not want to give too much of this downward process, this downward progress. You don't want to give that back to the bulls. Feels like you did it, on the daily. Right? This is good progress for the bears. So you have 4 hours. It's a good progress for the bears. See how the bulls are trying to show up with their family? You don't want to see the bull start to show up on the week because your bears start to get back to progress. You want this going down. You want to close down Sunday somewhere in this region right here. Right? You don't want this wick to turn into a long end wick. That's not going to be good for the bears. If you're a bull, you're like, hell yeah. Please push up this close to that white line.
All right, so I'm still getting mixed feedback. So I'll go ahead and just recap it for you. But I just wanted to be able to show it to you guys on video to be like, hey, I'm not like pulling, I'm not trying to blow smoke up your ass. So on February 28th, which was Friday, we were on, Fear was on, Woke was on. We were just kind of having a little bit of a powwow. You guys were in the chat. And what I was basically saying is, if we want to test the legitimacy of Bitcoin's recent price action, right? Because it's one thing for it to show up on the 15 minutes, one thing for it to show up on the hourly, it's one thing for it to show up on the 4 hour, right? I do like the higher time frames. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've said, just so y'all can see it here, right? Pay attention where that white candle is. Just above, just below 90,000. What I was saying is, chart structure, technical analysis, if you're trying to get a decent baseline for what's actually happening in the market, you got to know your chart structure. So if you're creating higher highs, higher lows, that's obviously bullish. You're going up. Low, high, higher low, higher high, right? This is bullish chart structure. What happens is when price starts to trade below the most recent higher low, that's when you start to have sentiment in the market flip, and you can go from bullish to bearish. What I was telling the people on live right here, right? That white line right there. I said, if price closes, okay, beneath, let me clean this up a bit. If price closes beneath this most recent higher low, that would be a strong case for the bears on a higher time frame like the weekly. I said what you don't want to see happen is, if you're a fan of Bitcoin's price going down, maybe you're shorting, whatever the case may be, what you don't want to have happen is you don't want to see price start to close above, especially on the weekly, and this weekly candle is going to close in about 4.5 hours. But you don't want to see price close above this white line. What spurred that thought, okay, leave. What spurred that thought, because y'all know whenever we go live, I have to give you the case, the base case scenario for the bears and the bulls. Let me go down here to Bitcoin. I think it was on what, my perpetual chart. Should be that one. All my doodles and markings. Is that it? CTC. I'm sorry, it's on this one. CTC. Clean TikTok chart. CTC. Perps. Show up all my gaps. Here it is. Okay. What made me take this line of thinking was the fact that if we go back here to the daily, when Bitcoin came down here and started closing this CME gap, this was a very bullish candle, but ultimately it was a bearish candle. I'm sorry, but ultimately what ended up happening is the bulls, they stepped in with a tremendous amount of force and they brought it all the way back up. So I said, for that daily candle to end up closing the way that it did, it made me want to go to the weekly to say, hey, if this is the most recent higher low, we don't want to see price go back up this way if in fact the bears are in control. Now, since that's happened, we're back at 92,800, right? So because the information that I'm going over here is showing up on the weekly and the daily, these are two of the most highest time frames that one will chart on. It's important that we take this very, very serious. Okay. Now, ideally, in order for this whole entire thing to flip back like bullish, right? You got to get back above like 100,000. So now what I'm checking for, okay? What I'm checking for is to make sure what we have going on here, because again, we said we are expecting relief rallies, right? We set that all the way. Let's go back here. We were saying we're expecting relief rallies all the way back here, okay? So you see how you've got price comes down, it rallies up, it takes out the former low, break a structure, okay? These are continuation patterns. On this 4 hour, yes, you have flipped back to a what I would call like intermediate level bear or bullish scenario, but you still have not made that same switch on the daily. That's going to happen at this level right here. And the fact that Bitcoin has closed above, or looks like it may close, we're not done with the weekly candle yet, but it looks like it may close above this higher low, the most recent higher low, right? It completely negates Bitcoin going from a bullish to a bearish market sentiment on the even higher time frame on the weekly. We're not quite there yet, okay? On the daily, you're there. On the 4 hour, you were there, but due to this recent price action, you've looked like on the short term anyway, you flipped sentiment going from bearish to bullish. So the last piece, puzzle piece to fall is going to be on this daily. Do you close right above this higher 90s, $100,000 range and flip this time frame too? Or is this just the next recent rally up only to start rallying down and take out liquidity that's down here at this range? So during last live, this is one of the reasons I was saying, beware of moves that happen on the weekend, because weekends tend to be laced with fake moves. We could get to next week and things could be turbulent. Next week is going to shape up to be a very interesting week because on the 7th of March, which I believe is this week, it's Friday, we're going to have the first ever crypto summit at the White House. So things could look a bit positive until we get on the other side of that. We got to wait and see what kind of information is going to be present. We got to wait and see what kind of topics are going to be held, who's going to be there, what they're going to say. So in my opinion, it's a bit of a wait and see game. So am I bullish now? Triple wants to know, am I bullish now? I'm not saying I'm bullish now. My sentiments are going to remain the same. Again, on the stream that we did on the 28th, I said until we can, get above this like $98,000, $100,000 zone right here, my sentiment is the same. I'm not convinced just yet. And I know what some people are saying, like, oh man, the price was down here and now it's here. While this is 17%, 19%, that is respectable. Unless you're working with a tremendous amount of money, the amount of crypto, or really Bitcoin, you can get at this level versus this level, it's not really going to make a huge difference. So personally, what I don't want to do is I don't want to be buying down here, okay, thinking that this might be the next leg up. And if we roll over, congratulations, now I've just caught a falling knife. Now on some of your alts, some of these alts right now, we talked about this last go round. If you're looking at the charts, you're looking at the lows. If you feel like you need to take you gotta buy something, or you gotta take a position because you just like the way it looks, it's your money. You're entitled to do that. We talked about the FOMO killing position. Glenn, what was the FOMO killing position? The FOMO killing position, okay, was if you got 100, 1,000, 10,000, whatever the case is, you take a certain allocation of that fund, those monies, and take a position in whatever project you're looking at, but just don't blow the whole wad. I don't think that would be a very wise thing to do. And I can only speak for myself because I can't tell you what to do because I'm not your financial advisor. Okay. So that's the level set that I wanted to give, because I knew it was going to be some people, hey man, you said it was going down. Here we are, we're rallying up. I don't technically think we're out of the woods just yet. Right now, what I'm doing is I'm giving you the technical level of where we would need to be in order for me to be like, okay, cool, I'm comfortable maybe switching my bias now. And again, no one knew that Trump was going to come out with the tweet that he put out on Truth Social that not only would they be looking at the Bitcoin strategic reserve, but now they're going to open it to cryptos alike. We had long time speculated on it, but this would be the first time that it was ever introduced from a member of this administration, let alone the president of the United States, and said, hey, we're going to do a crypto reserve. And he names like 3 or 4 cryptocurrencies by name. XRP, Cardano, Sol. Is there another one I'm missing? And then he said Ethereum and of course Bitcoin would be at the heart of these reserves. So this is new information. These are what we call catalysts. We're always trying to figure out what would be a catalyst to cause markets to shift. What would be a catalyst to have markets move? This could be one of those things. Could it also be one of those buy the rumor, sell the news? It could. We got to wait until Sunday, which is why I'm saying me personally, unless I see a trade that's lights out, like some that I saw in the last 24 or 48 hours, I'm just sitting on my hands. I'm just sitting on my hands. Link and LTC should be in there now. Should be. I mean, I agree. I think Link and Litecoin should definitely be in there. It's about to be the crypto party at the White House. That's crazy. We need to figure out how can we get our hands on some invitations. Payneson says, it's funny he said what he said today after a whale went long on BTC and XRP yesterday. That is interesting. Yeah, it's on the 7th. What's up, Humble? We got Fear and Humble 7K in the chat. Drop a bomb in the chat for Fear and Humble. Yeah. So it's important that, again, I open that live because I know what some people are going to be thinking. Are we still bullish? Are we still bearish? Like, you know, what's the deal? Two things I'm looking at. One, I want to see where this weekly candle closes, right? Last go around again, we were talking to Woke. I think Fear might have jumped off the live or jumped down out of the box at this point, but I was talking to Woke and I said, hey, if Bitcoin crosses this level right here where that white line is going across that red candle, if you're a bear, you don't want to see that happen. And you don't want to see that happen because this would represent the most recent lower high that Bitcoin was trading under. And so if you're a bear, you want Bitcoin to be trading underneath this zone. Because if you have this ginormous, what was a huge red candle, and now it's been bought up by the bulls, what that's telling you, especially on a higher time frame, like the weekly, what that's telling you is the bulls have assumed or reassumed control of at least Bitcoin. So I've got to give that to you like that. Because you got to understand that these markets are dynamic. They're not static. It's like water going down a river. It's forever changing. It's always moving. Does that make sense? Man, Deuces Wild says yes. It's forever changing. Now, if in the next 4 hours and 37 minutes, you start to see Bitcoin give, some of this stuff back, well, then, okay, we got something to talk about. But until that happens, from a trading standpoint, I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything. Because I feel like markets could be a little too turbulent right now. I want to see where this closes. I want to see how it closes. The next time frame I will look at is the daily. Because the daily's got to practically get to about 100,000 before it starts to look macro trend bullish. Hey Glenn, good afternoon. What's up, crypto sister? How you feeling? Saying we need some more daily closures, 100%. So with that being said, I'll open it up. If y'all want to take a look at some others, we'll do so. I can tell you right now, alts for the most part, especially the ones that were mentioned by name, are probably going to look pretty good. I was definitely looking at XRP earlier. That thing shot up like a rocket. I've got my eye on it. I want to take a short on that, obviously, when it's time. We'll take a look here at Sol. Where is it? Sol right here. Okay. So again, chart structure. If you're looking at a lot of these alts, right, some of them peaked above certain ranges where they would need to close in order to be categorized as bullish. But now you can start to see they're starting to give some of that back. That's why I'm really not a huge fan of this. I'm like, yo, these markets moving like this on a Sunday, like, I don't really trust it. I don't trust it. And the fact that we've got the weekly, the week that we're having coming up, it's just going to be a lot of turbulence. It's sus as hell. It is sus as hell. I've seen weekends lead to fake movements. I've seen Mondays and Tuesdays lead to fake movements. Then we got the crypto party at the White House, the crypto summit at the White House on Friday. Like I said, it's going to be an interesting week. Liquidity grab. Fred, I'm going to be honest with you, man. If it's something odd about it. It's something very, very interesting, I'll say, about this. Trump posted, yeah, he posted it not on Twitter. And when I first saw the information, I'm like, oh, is it fake? But then I was taking a look at the profile picture. And I'm like, well, it's not his Twitter. I wonder if this is Truth Social. I went to Truth Social. He posted on Truth Social. But then when you go back and read the tweet underneath his Truth Social, where he's talking about the crypto strategic reserve, go back and look at the other tweet underneath that, not on Twitter, but on his Truth Social. It just doesn't sound like it's legitimate English. I'm not saying it didn't come from him. I'm just saying, you know, there's some things here that are looking a bit interesting. Mark Turan says, I don't think the correction is finished yet. I think it's a liquidity grab, and it very well could be. I'm going to tell you right now, we go here, not the Bitcoin dominance, but we go here to the CME chart. I think the move that we have here is going to lead to a gap. So what's going to happen is, because what is Bitcoin at now? Bitcoin is at 93. So we closed here. Bitcoin is currently in this region right here. When the market's open tomorrow, there's essentially going to be a gap from, come on, why is it not working? If I'm not mistaken, there should be a gap from like here to here. Now, price is up here, right? Which is cool because, hey, we've officially filled this gap up here, which we talked about on the February 25th stream. Like, we're going to, you know, we created a gap up here. So when we were down here, I was saying, hey, we could definitely come back and bounce up here. And if y'all want to see that in video, I can definitely pull it for you. I just don't want y'all to think I'm trying to pull a fast one on you. But now that we're up here and we closed here on the market on, what was this, Friday, the 28th, it's going to be a gap. So then what happens if that's the gap that leads us moving back down here to the downside after the crypto summit at the White House, and then boom, 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 boom. So you just got to be mindful, man. You really got to start to think, you know, nothing is really ever as it seems. You really have to go in and do the legwork and look into the details and try to, you got to be a detective when it comes to this crypto shit. And I know that's more work, and I know y'all working like 40, 50, 60 hours, but if you're a trader, you got to know this stuff, because this is the difference between a $10,000 trade or losing multiple hundred, if not multiple thousands of dollars. There's no structure break yet either. Exactly. Yeah, that's what we're saying. Let me go back here to my Bitcoin chart. Structure break will come in this range right here. So until we get there, I'm like, not going to make any moves just yet. Not going to make any moves just yet. Come here to the daily. Now, remember what we talked about, right? You guys always ask me, Glenn, why do you use the moving average that you do? Because prices always got to revert back to the mean. We talked about that on the 25th stream, February 25th. Glenn, what do you mean prices got to revert back to the mean? What I'm saying is, if Bitcoin had this wild price action down here, right? This is where we started coming down a lot of those fair value gaps. We closed a bit of the CME gap down here. Look at the distance between Bitcoin's price and the moving average. This is called extension. The more drastic these things get, it means a reverse is likely going to be in the in the neighborhood, on the precipice. Price moves down, it creates a gap, extension between the price action and the moving average. Price is going to come back up to meet it. I can show you when price gets to, be a little bit too far from it, right? Look at this. Price starts to run up. We talk about this. It's two ways to bring price back to the mean. Price actually can run up so much where it pulls a moving average up, or price can come back down and it can meet price, or price can meet the moving average. Let's see if I can show you some more clear examples. Like this right here, right? We start to see price run up. It's starting to run away from the moving average, right? It's different if it's close to it like it is here, but when it starts to create that gap, that space in between, price has got to revert to the mean. Boom. Price is going to come back down to meet the moving average. Same thing. Price starts to get too far beyond the moving average. Boom. Price has got to come back down to meet it. And what we saw here was essentially just the reverse. Price started to get too far away from the moving average, moving to the downside. Price has got to revert back to the mean. Boom. Price comes up to meet the moving average. Does that make sense? That's funny. Deuces wild. Hell yeah, fam. All right, so we got some light bulbs clicking. What's moving average? Mine personally, I use a 20. But every chartist, every person that does technical analysis, they're gonna choose whichever one is more comfortable for them. For me, the 20 just bodes well. Mar says, I'm trying, Glenn. I'm trying. Man said that. Well, that's why I still listen to Cal. You still, you're well within your right to do so. You're well within your right to do so. Do I use the 200? I do use the 200 on very, very dire situations. Like, let's say price is getting crazy, right? Like, we have a crazy massive dump. Okay. I might come over here and be like, all right, well, show me where support would be on the 200. Boom. Well, isn't that funny that this is, when we lost the 200, this is where shit started to get real for a lot of people. So you can use that 200. That 200 is really going to tell you what kind of dire situation you're in. You start to lose the 200, man, like, there's usually no coming back from that. So yeah, I use the 200 whenever we start to see very, very wild price swings. And I want to know exactly, like, all right, how bad is it really? Okay, so what's my prediction for the upcoming months, right? So without going too far, I don't want to go too far out without really having basis. So I'm going to give you the thing that I think is probably most important to look for moving forward this week. Number one, does Bitcoin's price action, right? I'm talking solid daily closes. I don't want just like a little bit of the candle. I don't even want a wick. And don't give me a little bit of the body, right? So the body, if you're not familiar with candles, is the solid green or the solid red color. The skinny green or the skinny red, right? These are your wicks. Some people call them shadows. Some people call them tails. I call them wicks. I would be looking for Bitcoin to close above, if I can get it, 99,421. Call it just a smooth 100,000. What, like a decent candle body close above that region. And I'll show you what normally it might look like. So we're going up, boom, so we come down, we come back up, we start to go down. We get that close here. One or two things could happen. You can either close and just keep going, or you can close, come back, maybe test it. Yeah, that's good. Okay, let's bounce off. If you get this right here, you're probably off to the races. You're probably off to the races. Because what that's telling you is, hey, this is a region you had to get above. It closed that region, right? Strong body candle close, not a wick. Don't show me a wick. Give me an actual candle close. A body of a candle. Give me a candle close above that. Come back, right? Push off a little bit. Come back. Retest it. Hey, this is now it's a new support zone. Let's push off and let's go to the upside. That's valid because you came back, you tested it, it was successful, and you pushed off, right? That's good, strong market structure. What I don't want to see will be some shit like this, right? Boom, we go up, we come back down, we go up. Oh, look, we get a tiny, tiny little wick close above it. And then maybe, we kind of, the next candle is going. Everybody's like, yeah, we're off to the races. We never come back and test and we do one of these. That's not going to be fun for anybody. I mean, it'd be fun for the bears, but that's not going to be fun for anybody. That's why I want to see strong body closes above that area. A third scenario that could happen would be price goes up, it comes back down, it goes back up, right? You get a strong body close above the region, but then you just kind of go off. You just kind of go off. Hang on, y'all. I got to take this call real quick. Give me 2 seconds. So the second scenario, the third scenario that could happen, that probably wouldn't be as good as the first, but would still be better than the second. Price comes, pushes above that zone, right? Strong body close above that zone, right? Strong body close above that zone. I'll see what I did. I put the close here. And then we get the continuation candle that goes wherever it wants to go, further to the upside. Ideally, I want to push above it, come back, test it, move to the upside if you're a bull. Next best scenario would be this right here. Strong close above it. Continuation candle starts to move to the upside. Again, if you're a bull. If you're a bull, what you don't want to see happen is you barely close this zone, right? Like maybe you get a wick and it kind of fakes everybody out because you think, oh yeah, we're going to do it. And then it just turns around and it just moves to the downside. That's on the daily. The 4 hour, whatever needs to happen on the 4 hour has already happened, right? Right now, you'd be looking for this thing to close. You don't want to have this thing come all the way back down here. This was the zone, okay, that you needed to get over, and you did that. Glenn, I thought you said the zone was up here a couple streams ago. It was, but as price starts to come down and you take out, right, former old areas of liquidity, you create these breaks of structure, the target of which you need to get over to flip from bearish to bullish moves as well. So this became the new region that you needed to get over. You've done that on the 4 hour, right? Your 4 hour candle close here. Now, if I'm being completely honest, you got a nice little gap right here that actually might be right for the targeting. I'm sorry, no, not yet. It depends on where this one's going to close. 2 seconds, y'all. All right, my bad, y'all. Dang, I just had a whole bunch of stuff dropped off. I totally forgot I was expecting that delivery. All right, so what was I saying? So this potentially, depending on where this next candle closes in the next 2 hours and 19 minutes, is possibly going to create a new FVG. Pushes to the upside, I would be on the lookout for how it reacts once not this candle, but the candle that comes after it, if it starts to move down, because this whole entire area could be up for grabs. So if you're a shorter, that's something that you definitely need to be on the lookout for. Okay. So again, as I said here, on the weekly, this is the next area that you've got to be mindful of how price action is going to close. 2 hours and 18. Damn, is it really 2 hours and 18 minutes before this candle closes? That's wild. So yeah. So on a weekly, you're probably still going to look bullish because again, you haven't closed a solid candle underneath these zones. Four hour, you did what you need to do. You close the zone that you did. The next one to keep an eye on is going to be that daily. Once your daily starts to get above that $100,000 range, the bulls will officially take it back over. But until then, again, I don't want to call it too soon. It's going to be an interesting week that I think we need to pay attention to. The whales made more moves today, period. What did they know was going on? Probably the summit, right? Everyone's probably trying to get in position for the summit just in case they drop some kind of like breaking news. Can't see the screen. You should be able to see the screen. If you buy now, I mean, just keep in mind that it might be a little bit of an aggressive spot to buy in. If you'd be okay with, hey, if I buy now and something happens in the next week, week and a half, and it goes down, if you're okay with that, I think that's going to tell you what you need to do. If you want to operate a little bit more on the cautious side, you're probably going to wait until price action breaks above that $100,000 zone, if it is even going to. Yeah, Link's probably taking off right now as well. So that's pretty much the gist of what I think we need to be paying attention to here in the short term. Just keep in mind how the market's going to move over the next couple of days. Keep in mind how it, may move next week. I think Friday is definitely going to be a day to pay attention to. We need to try to keep our eyes on two things. Number one, the CME chart. See how that gap is going to be formed on Monday. So keep an eye on the CME chart, right? Because we're down here, but right now price is up. So we're going to open up here. It's going to have us essentially create a gap that we need to fill to the downside sooner or later at another date and time. And then we're also going to have to keep in mind as to what's going to happen on Friday. Number three, Tuesday, take a look and see how the institutions were buying Bitcoin, if they even bought more Bitcoin when the markets open on Monday. I'm going to do some more analyzing of charts here on the back end. I'll be back on this thing like 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if y'all guys, if you have questions, definitely let me know. I just want to come in here and kind of give a little bit of a market update as to what it is that we're looking for. And if anything jumps out at me between now and then, I'll definitely be sure to hit TikTok at least with a video on my profile. So I want to say thank y'all for coming to hang out. What do I think pushed it today? I think what pushed it was the announcement that Trump had came out with, and when he said that they were going to be looking at a strategic crypto reserve, not just a Bitcoin reserve, but an actual strategic crypto reserve. Prior to today, we had just kind of been speculating, but now like he's officially put the world on notice, if I can say that. Let's take a look at XRP real fast. XRP is just kind of doing the same thing it's been doing. It got to that 280 zone and started running into turbulence here as it just kind of cracked $3. And one of two things comes to mind because we're still on the 4 hour. This candle here still looks really healthy. It might just be consolidating short term, say like 30-minute, trying to build some strength here before it tries to push off and make another run for the upside. If that's going to happen, obviously the volume on this hourly is going to need to pick up as well. Hourly on the 30-minute volume and volume on the hourly will need to pick up if XRP is going to try to make another push for 300 to try to break that zone. But essentially that was a catalyst. Supers right now is up 15% from the lows here on Friday. It's actually not looking bad. A decent buy sell volume right here. I won't be surprised if Super tried to push up to just under, I'd say like 1.5 cents. But I think right now the main catalyst, if you're like, I'm a trader and I want to try to make a swing trade, you're paying attention to the coins that were listed by name, the XRPs, the Cardanos, the Bitcoin, the Ethereums. I want to say there was one more. XRP, Solana, Cardano, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. That was like the 5, right? Wife says if it hits $4.50, we can name the daughter Ada. That'd be wild. May 5th, congratulations, man. Almost here. Almost here. Congratulations, legit. I'm gonna have to DM you something after we hop off here. What are my thoughts on the weighted moving average? I think the weighting average just definitely got its play. Personally, I like to just keep it simple. I'm also going to be a little bit of a different camp because I don't rely too heavily on indicators. I try to look at the naked price action. What is the price doing? What is volume doing? And then I bring the indicators afterwards to give me my idea of what I, to try to corroborate the information that I feel that I'm taking in. It was Lovelace, wasn't it? I think that's what he ended up naming his daughter, Lovelace. Exactly, Confluence. Yep, 100%. So I try to get the picture, the overall picture, based off of price action and volume. Even like some trend line analysis is in there, and then after I've got that preliminary picture made up, then I try to bring in, fibs or VPVRs, moving averages, things of that nature. How do I think the institutions will take it? I think the institutions, if they see there's going to be a short-term play for them to make some money, then they might. I'm going through some information right now, and I can't really say if it's fact or not, but I'll have that at about 9 as to why the institutions likely might have sold off. So if y'all join me at like 9 or so, we'll go over that. And if that is, say, the case, then man, that could, yeah, I'll leave it at that. I want to cliffhang y'all, but I got to make sure it's legitimate. I don't want to be out there putting fictitious information into the ethos. You feel me? Cool. Well, that's going to do it. I'm going to hop off. I'm going to go ahead and do some more research, do some other stuff. I'll be back 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Yep, 9:30. If it's not 9, then I'll definitely be on 9:30. 9:30 at the absolute latest. So if you come in at 9:30, we'll definitely be rolling. Yep. All right. Traveling, can't wait to research also. That's where the money's at, man. That's where the money's at. All right, but y'all be good. 9:30 tonight Eastern Standard Time. We're going to get more into these charts. We'll also have some candle closes, weekly candle, 4-hour, and a couple of hourly closes in between then. So that should give us another shape up of how the market might look here in the next couple of days. Wants to know what's happening real fast. Birds, Trump put out a tweet on Truth Social stating that the United States was going to be looking at doing a crypto reserve where he named Solana, XRP, Cardano, as well as Bitcoin and Ethereum that would make up essentially this strategic reserve for crypto in the United States. And it's just kind of sent the market into a little bit of a tizzy. Things to be aware of. Again, this is happening on a weekend, so just, be mindful of that. All right. I will see y'all 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Y'all be good. Peace.